Ever find yourself like daydreaming about a Disneyland trip,
Yeah.
and then bam, reality hits?
Elite prices.
Right. Yeah. You're so not alone.
It's such a common thing.
It really is.
People are fascinated by it. Like, how can a place that cost $1 to get into back in 1955 now cost, like, more than your fancy coffee?
Seriously. It's more than just inflation going on there, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking a whole strategy here. Pixie dust economics and, good old supply and demand all rolled into one.
So let's rewind a bit. Our research really dug into how Disneyland's pricing has changed over the years. It seems like for a while it was pretty simple.
Yeah, back in 55, your dollar got you in the gate. But then here's the thing. You had to buy tickets for most of the rides individually.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't even all-inclusive.
Nope. Not until 1982. They rolled out the all-inclusive ticket, and get this, it was $12.
$12. Wow. That's like a snack now. But I guess that's when things really started to take off price-wise. Was it just keeping up with, everything getting more expensive?
Part of it for sure, inflation's no joke, but honestly, it doesn't explain the whole picture. The interesting part is that in the 80s, Disney went all in on expanding. Adding attractions shows the whole experience. And to do that well, they had to make sure they could pay for it all, and then some.
So it became about more than just adding a new roller coaster here and there. They wanted people to feel like they were in another world.
Exactly. And that level of detail, that doesn't come cheap. Think about it. The landscaping's immaculate. The streets are spotless. They've got that Disney perfection going on.
It's true. You kind of forget about all that when you're wandering around Main Street, USA. But our research showed just how much goes into making that happen. Thousands of cast members maintaining all the rides, the fireworks shows. It's a huge operation.
That's wild, really. It's like a small city with its own demands. Think about the energy they use, the labor costs, and all the tech that goes into those rides. And those costs, well, they keep going up.
Not to mention, everything in California seems to be getting more expensive. Cost of living, labor,
Yeah.
you name it. It all adds up.
It all factors
It
in.
makes you wonder, how does Disneyland stack up against other theme parks? Are they all in the same boat?
Oh, totally. But here's where it gets interesting. Our research actually showed that Disneyland's prices, even though they're up there, they're not that far off from other big parks like Universal Studios Hollywood.
So it's not like Disney's the only one charging an arm and a leg.
Exactly. It's more like they've figured out how to charge a premium on top of the premium.
Because it's Disney.
Exactly. They've got those experiences you just can't get anywhere else.
It's that feeling of stepping into another world, right?
Right.
And that's got to be harder to create than just another roller coaster.
For sure. Think about it. Where else can you fly the Millennium Falcon or have breakfast with princesses? These aren't just rides. They're like fully realized experiences that get you emotionally. And those memories, they stick with you.
And Disney's definitely aware of that. They seem to be leaning into that whole exclusivity thing even more, even within the parks themselves. Like those VIP tours, after-hours events, special passes, all cost extra.
Smart move on their part. By offering different levels of experience, they can cater to different budgets and tap into that desire for exclusivity. Classic supply and demand. And it plays on our psychology, too. Like, if something's exclusive, it's automatically more appealing, even if it means spending more.
Totally. And that brings us to Disney's not-so-secret weapon, their brand power. They're not just selling theme park tickets. They're selling magic nostalgia, that connection to the characters and stories we all grew up with.
Which so many people connect with. I mean, who doesn't have a childhood memory tied to Disney? It's like a shared experience.
Exactly. And that connection is huge. It lets them charge a premium. Because for a lot of people, it's not just about the rides or shows. It's about reliving those memories or making new ones with family. That's powerful stuff. It's true.
Yeah.
You don't really hear people complaining about Disney prices the same way they do about, streaming services going up. It's like Disney's allowed to be expensive.
It's the power of the brand. They've built up that image of quality, attention to detail, and that certain magic that people expect, and they're willing to pay for it.
And it's not like they're coasting on that reputation.
Yeah.
They're constantly adding new things, upgrading the experience. They know how to keep people coming back, even with the prices going up.
They've also gotten really strategic with their pricing. Like, our research found all sorts of strategies beyond just changing prices based on demand. They do tiered pricing, those multi-day annual passes, and let's not forget about all the little things you buy in the park. Food souvenirs, all that.
Yeah, those Mickey Mouse ears aren't going to buy themselves. But it does make you think, are we being played? Are we caught up in the magic? Or are they just really good at getting us to spend more?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And one that keeps economists and psychologists up at night.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, it's really something else. How Disney's managed to blend that magic with, the business side.
They've got it down to a science.
So where do we go from here? Are these prices just going to keep going up? Will we ever see those, single-digit ticket prices again?
I kind of doubt it. As long as people are lining up to get in and Disney keeps adding new stuff, those prices are probably going to keep climbing.
So those $1,000 tickets some people are predicting could actually happen.
It's definitely possible, especially with how much people are into those super exclusive experiences these days. Disney's really good at giving people what they want. And right now, it seems like what people want is that high-end personalized experience.
It makes you think about what value really means. For some people, the magic of Disney is worth any price. But for others, maybe it starts to feel less magical when you see those prices.
It comes down to what matters to you, what you can afford and what you're looking for. There's no right answer. But it's something to think about. When does the cost outweigh the potential for that magic?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Mm.
And one that each person has to answer for themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of Disney's appeal, though. It's a way to escape reality for a bit.
Right.
And that kind of escape comes with a price tag.
It's a business, for sure. But it's also tapping into that need for escape. And people are willing to pay for that, especially these days.
Well, I think that's our cue to head back to reality,
Yeah.
at least for now. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the history of Disneyland prices to the economics and all those decisions that go into it.
We've talked about the psychology behind it all, the power of their brand, and how they balance creating those magical experiences with, making money.
And of course, we had to tackle the big question, is it worth the price of admission?
And like most things, Disney, the answer isn't so simple. It's up to each person to decide.
So to everyone listening, next time you see those Disneyland prices and you're thinking about taking the plunge, remember this conversation. Think about the history, the economics, the magic that all goes into that number.
And maybe more importantly, ask yourself, what does that magic mean to me? And what am I willing to pay to experience it?
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep those questions coming.